We are back with another Age of Mythology Retold point of view game. Today we're watching Chemo as the Ra against Chasing the Sun in the green. We're going to watch from Chemo's perspective. Now, Ra has had some pretty significant nerfs this patch, so I wanted to watch probably the best Ra player there is, which is Chemo. He's also playing in the most recent upcoming tournament, so is Chasing the Sun. So I think these are two very strong players right now in the top, I think it's top 24 are in this upcoming tournament. And the reason I wanted to watch is to see if Chemo changed his build at all. So if you're unfamiliar with some of the nerfs have mainly come to the Pharaoh and Priest empowerment rate. So when a Pharaoh empowers a monument, it's like a Priest is empowering everything within this area. And the Priest's empowerment rate has gone down from 70% extra to 60% or something along those lines. It's now 10% less. So I was expecting to not see empowering, but it looks like he's just doing it anyway. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it and thinking if something's been nerfed, you shouldn't do it anymore. But what I was expecting to see is the Pharaoh just on the food until maybe later on, or just not even using this until you get some buildings up. Maybe when your barracks are in this area, it's still beneficial. But I wasn't expecting to see it in the early game, but it looks like Chemo is obviously a better Ra player than me, or maybe he's just testing it out. Chemo does like to do this on the ladder, and he loses to players that are significantly below him just because he's trying something out. I played him once. I still got wrecked. He's a very, very good player. We are seeing that the Priest, he did a bit of an empowerment on this early granary just to get it up quicker while the monument was going up with the Pharaoh, and then he's sending it Priest out on his way to get the obelisks up. And then he just bumps it to get the extra line of sight. If you just want to do that, I just hold shift and then absolutely spam the hell out of the obelisk. And normally he likes to empower it. And it is seeing, it's a pretty good obelisk here. It does manage to see the settlement that Chasing the Sun, the Gaia player, might want to go for, depending on what's on there. And also sees a bit of the main base, sees what's going on, can see if what kind of build the guy is going for. So we can see that he's going for the pickaxe and hand axe over, say, the hero build or something like that, or going for just a very early town center without those extra upgrades. And apologies, haven't swapped these guys around. I like to have the player we're watching on the left also manages to catch a few goats here. Temple going up. This is the benefit of obviously having your Pharaoh here, is the house goes up quicker, the temple goes up quicker. He is still getting the two villagers on the temple, so maybe a little bit later than he would have liked. Probably used to the old gather rate, so expecting to get slightly more gold from your Pharaoh empowering it. I mean, it doesn't make too much of a difference, but for these top level players, they're just used to the exact numbers that you would get at different times. Deciding to go through Ptah for a 415 advance time, pretty standard. Could basically do anything with that. Can go for the classical aggression if that's what he wants to go for. Can go for a second town center, but I mean, he hasn't really scouted a second town center. I mean, he scouted this one, but I mean, there's nothing really on it. He can go for a forward town center if he wants, but I mean, the savanna trees here are just cutting off these gazelles. They're also cutting off these ones. There's probably a town center around this sort of area, but he hasn't scouted it yet, so doesn't know what's on it. But it looks like he is going for that anyway. And also deciding to keep the monument to the villagers empowered even with 12 on gold. The Pharaoh for Ra has a big empowerment bonus, so it is quite surprising, but this does indicate some kind of second town center or village center or something like that. I'd be surprised if he goes for this one, but I've been wrong about town centers in the past. Do see this is quite an aggressive town center. I mean, this is probably the Gaia player's town center, but it is a little bit better, just from what we see anyway. We do see that the Gaia decides to go through Oceanus. Probably pretty standard for Gaias. And just a little bump. We'll see what's up. Maybe he's going for this town center. It's definitely better than this one. Of the ones he's scouted, this one's better. And it looks like the Oracle is trying to get away. I think the villager did want to chase that Oracle. I'm not really sure whether he attack moved or just went to kind of go for it there. Priest is in position to empower and also keeping the Pharaoh back at home, spamming up his buildings. And this is a sorry sight for a Ra player. So the berries and the chickens on a lot of these maps have gone down by 1, but this is quite significant. We do see the Carnivora coming down. but the Pharaoh or Priest should be able to take that out. It's quite a late advance time for trying to go for this. We even have the Mamillos in here also. Villager's trying to turn around and shank. Might have to shifting sands away. Probably shifting sands into this one, is he? No, just shifting sands back home. Did he shifting sands back home? Just shifting sands back home. So just loses out on that town center there. Really nice play by Chasing the Sun there to get his barracks up nice and early because he knew that Chemo would go for a second town center. Now, when I mentioned that I'd played Chemo once, this is what I did. Because I knew that if he gets the two town centers up, he just wins because he's used to playing that kind of boomy style. So you need to catch him out, and it looks like Chasing the Sun has managed to do that. And Chemo's gone, okay, I'm going to spend all that extra gold on 4 barracks instead and go pure axemen, or just some axemen to deal with these early units. And actually, the Mamillo are out in spades. Something that Chasing the Sun could have done here is just gone for those couple to actually just defend the second town center and then go for a second town center of his own, because the classical army of the Ra is very difficult at actually pushing buildings. They find it very tough to take those buildings down. I think Axemen have had a slight nerf against their counter units. So it used to be 4.5 times, now only 4. But they should be able to take this fight pretty well, especially with the towers. There's no towers in range, which is well spotted by the Gaia to actually attack this position. We do have this one, but I mean it's not really in a very good range. Can I not select them both at the same time? Okay. Around here, there's no arrow fire at all. Do have some snakes coming out. Snakes are going to be very good at shutting down this aggression, and that's sending Chasing the Sun pack in there. Still just deciding to go in with the Axemen. The thing about Axemen is they are extremely good against Mamillo, so they'll be really good defenders. But if you want to go on the aggression, you really want to go for Spearmen. Spearmen are so fast, they can get some really good raids off, whereas Axemen are relatively slow. 4.3 speed, I mean, maybe not the slowest, but they're relatively slow compared to the 5-speed Spearmen. I'm pretty sure it's 5 speed. Can we actually check? They have 5 speed. 5 speed Spearmen. They do decent damage also. I think they are more expensive this patch. That was a nerf that Ra received. I mean, Ra received some hefty nerfs, but Egyptians was nerfs to Spearmen, nerfs to Axemen, and then buffs to the Migdal units getting produced. So kind of just swapping out from how strong the classical army are to the heroic army getting a little bit of a buff. I think Chariots also got buffed as well, which is pretty crazy. Scalloped Axe coming through though, which is extra damage for your Axemen. It's a really nice upgrade if you're going pure Axemen for sure. And just starting to push out with this classical army. Medium Axemen as well, fully committing to this, expecting Chasing the Sun to go for more of these Mamillo, but he hasn't built any more. The Axemen probably would have won this without the upgrades, to be honest. Especially with these snaky boys behind. Pushing Chasing the Sun all the way back to his base. So now the pressure is now with Chemo. He has the superior army, forcing out watchtowers. We can assume that, I mean, we can see that Chasing the Sun hasn't got a town center, but you can just assume from how many Mamillo he did manage to get out early that he didn't have a second town center. He could have gone for one slightly later. Like he could have gone for one around maybe 6 minutes 30 if he just built a handful out. If he would have built 5 or 6 maybe. But not deciding to go for that one. I was seeing Hands of the Pharaoh, whether... and he actually did. He actually went for a... What would that have been? It would have literally just been up, so like an 8 minute 31. So getting more units out and then getting a delayed town center. Now, what some of the old Aranos players used to do back in the day is then go for a third one. Around 8 minutes, put the pressure on with some Amillos or some Termas, and then get 3 town centers against 2 town center. That's kind of what some of the old meta used to be back in the old game. Obviously, Retold, very, very different game. That was against someone that went 2 town centers, but obviously Chemo's only gone for 1, so just the second town center coming up there. Axemen still being produced also, trying to just get a little bit of pressure around the place. Would be worth sending this beast to take care of this carnivora. It's just it's only being a scout now, but you just kind of want to get rid of it. I'll see Chasing the Sun getting a nice little Black Lotus there. villagers farming faster, but it's definitely going to get caught out. Nope. Manages to bait with the Mamillo, and he gets out of there with the extra farming, which would be really nice for the Gaia, because the Gaia wants to go onto farms because she gets all the extra upgrades and wants to sit in her base. Whereas Chemo, because he's put all this pressure on, he can go out onto this hunt, and because of the hunt buffs, also there's a lot more hunt in these gazelles. It used to be 150, now it's 200. It's definitely worth bringing a decent amount of villagers out to get these hunt packs now. Getting out also some good upgrades as well. Spending all his resources to stay in this classical age, just this one town center classical, just completely changing his thoughts here. Now, Chemo hasn't scouted the whole map, but it looks like he's going for some kind of gold starve or some kind of pressure situation where he just wants to control the map. I don't know what the gold mines are like though. We haven't really spotted many. We haven't even spotted behind our own base, which is something that I also forget to do. Bit of a town center grab here. Not something you see often, but it's got more than enough units with a decent amount of upgrades to actually pressure already. So why not get this second town center up? Also wanted to go for farming himself. Shadoof, Plow coming up, Slingers, spend that wood. But yeah, needs to spot some of these gold mines really, what the guy wants to do. Maybe the guy wants to go out on this one. He's also had Thea pre-queued for ages, which is something interesting. Normally you kind of pre-queue it when you want to go that somewhat soon, but it seems to be pre-queued for a long time. It's each their own, I guess. Trying to deny the vision. The Mamillo there. Definitely worth doing against these Egyptians. Town center up. Decent amount of villagers. Well, not decent amount. A few villagers behind, but it'll be absolutely fine. Valuing the map pressure instead. And look at the amount of gazelles there are also. Absolutely fine. Getting this gold mine right in the middle. Not expecting the guy to be able to push him off that. So just no sort of defenses around. And keeping the Pharaoh back here. So what this does do is it produces everything from the barracks quicker. So we can see that, I mean, they come out really quick. So for this point of the game, when you're pumping out units, getting upgrades and things like that, when your farms are up, I think it's definitely worth having your Pharaoh on the monuments of the villagers. But we can see that the nerf is in full effect, where this isn't getting the extra gather rate, whereas this one does. Would be worth swapping onto this one just to get the extra gather rate for the monuments of the soldiers, but not in range of the lumber camp. Maybe that's why. We haven't seen Chasing the Sun's army for a while, and the Carabalists are out. The Slingers are already here though, so expected from Chemo here. Slingers do a decent amount of damage to these guys, especially with these 0.5 divine damage. Yeah, splitting the archers off is definitely the call, because the Carabalists just absolutely shred through these poor axemen. Although the axemen have had a buff with the pierce armor, which was a strange buff. A few spearmen out as well. Medium upgrades for everything. Copper upgrades, basically fully upgraded in this classical age. I don't think he's left any. He's just left leather frame shield, but he doesn't have many spearmen, so to be expected. Big raid coming off here, actually. So most of the villagers moved over to this settlement, but a pretty big raid to push him off the gold mine. With the Hero Mamillos getting the Carnivora down. Nice value from the guy. Oh, nice little snipe here. There are 5 Wadgets out though. Do you see that survival equipment coming in? And these cheeky little Hero Mamillo raids. Yeah, we just need to spot this and just attack, move, back on the gold mine. Nicely done. Decent amount of heroes. The heroes need to be careful. They really need to get on those Wadgets, so otherwise the Wadgets are just going to win this fight outright. There are some hero termers. Maybe the Slingers can just micro those down pretty nicely. We do see that the Slingers are microing nicely. Kind of need to take out the heroes first, which he absolutely did. Then the Carabalists are second. And we do have 2 Wadgets left. Citizens actually coming through to shank. This is pretty scary, but I mean, any amount of citizens that can go down is nice for Chemo here, and he is going for that gold starve with a nice wall down this bottom side that we do see coming up. just to cut off the map, basically forcing the Gaia to go for this gold mine. And so many of these citizens going down. Is it just a lack of production buildings maybe for chasing the sun? Can we change to his perspective? He's got five barracks, so maybe just spending his resources on maybe too many heroes that went down too quickly. Or do you want to change back over to Chemo's perspective? But yeah, really nice wall down here. Vision up on this gold mine. Does look like Chasing the Sun did go for this gold mine quickly, and we do now see that he's probably going to be gold starved pretty soon. And the villagers are just going to have to shank. He does have survival equipment, so they can shank a little bit. They're getting a little bit confused. The Wadgets, though, the Wadgets are just going to clean house. And that is it. Chemo does take away this victory. So after getting pushed off of this town center, just completely changed strategy to go 4 barracks, or I think it was three or 4 barracks, full send Axeman, get that map pressure, and won it in pretty commanding fashion, to be honest. We have a look at some of the military resource. It was just the early Mamillos from Moose and the Green were pretty strong, and then as soon as the Axeman came out, there's just so many units, won those fights easily. And I'll see you in the next one.